500 mils of some old orange juice that I had that was like just about to start going a bit tangy in that and fizzy anyway. And then I put some sourdough starter in it and then left it for about 3 or 4 days, 4 days, just at room temperature in like an open-ish container, not open, just like with a little gap. And it was started to like ferment and stuff and get bubbly. And then the idea is to put it straight in the fridge. And then in one of these bottles to kind of carbonate it. So as it's like producing all the yeast and stuff, it'll like get fizzy. But I think that my sourdough starter is a bit like knackered. So I opened it earlier and it made a noise. Let me move it away from the laptop. Hi, hey, hi, Pepper.
Hello.
Oh, it made a tiny fizz, but I think it needs to stay I'm going to leave it out of the fridge for the day and then hope that the pressure in the bottle makes it fizzy when when the sourdough starter starts working. I'm trying to make a fizzy drink, Pepper, out of like orange juice, water. It's like half orange juice, half water, and a bit of honey, and some sourdough starter. And so I'm going to leave it out all day and hope that because it's warm, it starts bubbling up. And I'm going to put it in the fridge, hopefully before it explodes.
That's
not like the last one.
That's a really nice idea. I might give that a go as well. I started making marmalade yesterday, but there's an overnight process. Yeah, I also had loads of oranges. So it's kind of sitting there, and I might jar it up and send it to everybody because there's loads.
I would love that.
Oh.
I also, like, one of my friends was feeling sad yesterday, and I was like, I'll send you some marmalade in the post. That makes me feel loads better. Thank you.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Also, I really like that we're all kind of posting things to each other because you can't like actually, it's quite, me and Pepper obviously met up because we literally live around the corner from each other, but otherwise you can't really like meet up and like share things like that. So the post has actually become real nice.
Yes, so Pepper, Asma,
Hi.
we were going to do introductions at the beginning when everybody's here. But yeah, Pepper, how's your week going? Are you still filming?
No, I finish on Thursday, so right before our workshop. But I had so many things to do afterwards, and Friday was mental.
Okay.
But yeah, I finally took the weekend, so I've been just working on a few things still, but it's okay. I have a stand-up comedy gig tonight.
Oh, nice.
Really? Are you doing the stand-up or are you going to watch it?
No, I'm doing it. So I began, I've been training stand-up since like, I don't know, November last year with a group of migrants and refugees.
I definitely want to see it. Where is it, please?
It's free at 8 p.m. on a Zoom call. So they are called No Direction Home, and they basically train only migrants and refugees. And they normally have like really cool headliners. So we've had, I don't know if you've seen it, if you follow stand-up comedy, but Nish Kumar is really famous, and he has been once like a headliner. So,
Hi, Sarah.
Big deal.
Oh, hi, Sarah. Oh, we have two people sideways today.
That's cool. Maybe we should just all be sideways.
Pepper, would you mind sending the link to us on the WhatsApp group? Because I'd really like to see it.
Yeah.
I'll find it.
Pepper's, you all right, Sarah?
Hey, yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey.
Okay, hello. Good morning.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, Sunday morning. I'm not awake yet.
I'm not awake yet.
No. Tom made me instant coffee. I'm so angry.
What?
I wish I could drink coffee. I have like a bit of caffeine intolerance, so I can't drink coffee. So I see everyone around me just having these delicious wake-up drinks, and I'm just asleep for an extra hour and a half a day. Like The Walking Dead.
Asma, do you drink coffee? I can't remember.
Well, no, coffee makes me more tired. Like, I tried iced coffee yesterday, and yeah, it really I was exhausted, like more than usual. I'm usually exhausted as well, so but it didn't help. But it does taste good. But
This looks great. I can't believe we're just hearing about this, Pepper. This is a stand-up comic, Soha. She didn't tell us.
I'm not like
Pepper!
yet, but I do. They always invite me to do these gigs, and yeah, they're just so fun.
Hey,
Where do you do them, Peppa?
Currently, I've done all my gigs online. So
Oh wow.
never a real like live audience, but we've had like really cool gigs with loads of people, like hundreds on a Zoom call.
Wow.
Like, what?
That's huge.
Yeah.
Hi, Catherine.
Goodness me, there's so many links to this thing. I didn't even know which one was
I know, I'm so sorry. That was my fault. I said only one.
I'm just gonna minimize this and close the rest because I've got so many opened in the background on my computer. So I am here just closing the rest. I think I kept on launching everyone I could see. There we are.
So you're also sitting in an empty room elsewhere?
Well, some of them wouldn't let me in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like we didn't get this link from Eden until quite late last night, so I just sent the one to our Zoom, but we don't have a premium account, so minutes.
Oh yeah, there's more.
But this is
There's one. Okay. Okay.
V, you're looking very glamorous for a Sunday morning.
Oh no, I'm going out for my uncle's birthday after this. That's why.
Oh.
Yeah.
You going anywhere fun?
Dishoom.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it is delicious.
It is delicious.
I want to
Yeah.
go to these.
I've never been though, but they've booked it. So.
The black dal is like next level amazing. It tastes like, it's so creamy, it tastes like they put coconut in it, but they haven't put any coconut in it.
Did
Yeah.
you say the dal? Which
The
one?
black dal.
Black dal. Okay, I'll try it.
The black dal is really, 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 really good. I think it's their like most popular thing.
Yeah. Which one are you going to?
Central London, I think, by Carnaby.
Yeah, cool. I haven't been to that one.
That was me.
The thing is, their food is delicious. Is like
Yeah.
it's just
that's what's so frustrating about them.
What's frustrating about them is they make you queue outside on a Saturday. Like
Yeah.
that is what is frustrating about them, and you just want to get them. But they do bring you cocktails in the queue, so
Yeah.
you know.
Hey, Wrinkle. Oh, you're also looking very glamorous.
Oh,
Where are you?
wow.
Hey, Wrinkle, you look so nice.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. It's our Navratri start. That's why I just
Yeah, of course it is.
taking out the clothes too colorful and everything.
Oh, it's lovely. I really like that colour.
Oh, thank you.
Are you going dancing later?
Not dancing, we're just singing so many songs and garba and everything because girls like it and do worship and just wear colorful clothes basically.
I might go change. I might go put on something red.
I basically just put something nice on top of my pajamas. I'm not going to lie.
Mhm. I'm just finishing cooking. That's why I'm a minute late. Sorry.
No, don't worry. We're still waiting. Are we waiting for anyone else?
Yeah, at class.
Just at class? Yes. Yeah, I messaged her. She said she's coming.
no, it's not.
Hi Soha, your bowl looks so beautiful. Colorful.
What looks? Oh,
Flowery and colorful.
thank you so much, Wrinkle.
You having your breakfast?
Yes, I am. My partner made me a really nice porridge with dates and strawberries, so it's delicious. It's really delicious.
Can I show you guys how my marmalade's going?
Yes, yes.
It's just, I'm always amazed by how much sugar you have to put in it to make it work, but it's really exciting. Look at it. Okay, here we go. There it is. Marmalade. I didn't have any Seville oranges. I just had lots of, just the, is it navel oranges? The
That
regular-
looks real labour intensive. How long did that take?
It took a few hours yesterday, and then it needs to cook for another 2 hours today.
And all the prep.
Yes. Well, Dan, my housemate, helped me because we decided to have an orange food day yesterday, so we made pumpkin soup and marmalade. So yeah, that's nice. It was a wholesome Saturday. But yeah, I made pear jam before that.
Pear jam, yum.
Yeah, but I think I didn't put enough sugar in it because it doesn't look like it's setting properly.
It's because pears don't have enough pectin in them. You can keep,
Yeah.
you can keep lemon seeds. Whenever you buy lemon, if you put all the seeds in the freezer and then put them in a little muslin bag, when you make your jam, you put the seeds in the muslin and then you take it out at the end, and it will increase. It'll increase the like settability of your jam.
That's really
so cool. That is so cool.
Because the recipe I looked at, it was like just chuck a couple of plums in, but I don't know if the plums do anything.
That's probably for pectin and also for like you know, because they break down so much as well. But yeah, like pips, lemon pips. I've been recently storing up lemon pips in the freezer because I had a similar situation with some jam where it was basically just like a liquid, like a pourable liquid.
Yeah.
So I looked it up and yeah. Pardon?
I put chia seeds in it. You know when we did that workshop with Wrinkle? And,
oh yeah. I don't know what happens to chia seeds when you cook them for X amount of time though.
Okay.
I don't know whether they continue to stay set, because the one that we did in preservation culture, it wasn't really cooked for like a very long time. And so I don't know what happens when you cook chia seeds for like ages and ages and ages, whether it will still stay set or not.
I think, be honest with, like, less cooking and it's not like 100% heat and just set inside, so it's not staying out of freeze more than 1 week.
Okay, right. Because the recipe I'm following for the marmalade, it says like, you know, you do the first process and then you do the second process, and it has to get up to 220 degrees in order for it to
that's for the sugar to caramelize and stuff like that as well, so that starts to set.
Okay. Is that the standard temperature for sugar to caramelize and set?
Well, 220.
Yeah, that's what it said. It might be Fahrenheit, but I'm pretty sure it was Celsius.
That is not centigrade. That would be that's some burned jam. Like, normally the setting point is around, I think, 105 centigrade. So you need it to get to about 105, which is, so it'll be boiling for ages before it gets to 105. That's why I think 200 and it'll just be like, it'll be dead, man. Like,
okay. Cool. Yeah.
And then do you know how to do that thing with the plate? So you put a plate in the freezer. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't do that with the pear, but this time I'm following the process quite.
When I done the you know, the tomato ketchup, homemade tomato ketchup, it's the same. Like, I took the whole four tomato. I took it, but it's just weight in the 1 kg because it's plum very heavy tomato, and it just come out this much.
Yeah.
I got this much, and it's leftover. Still, it's same taste, same structure, everything same. It's on my table. It doesn't go in the fridge. So if I make it like my mom and everyone, they in the tomato season, they just like any farmer, if you like, knows very well. They just tons and tons tomato throw in your house. Just use it like that. So they keep making tomato ketchup for whole year, and it stay in the cupboard in the dark place. And when they need it, one by one, they take it out and they use it instead of buying it. Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna have to try your tomato ketchup recipe, Wrinkle.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
And
share the recipes. We're going to share the recipes so everyone can have a go.
I will. And what you're saying, like, you know, the lemon seed, put in the muesli and put in there. So if you need like color tomato red one, then you can like whole spices, you need to put in the muesli. They just do that and they pour in there. And when it's done, they take it out. Yeah. So I done with the whole chili. I as well done that one. Whole chili I put in there and I took it out, because if it's like girls filling the chili inside, they might be not eating, but it's still flavor, chili flavor, but they can't feel spicy on the tongue, so they like it. Yeah,
that's nice.
I'm definitely gonna
that's really cool.
Should we do the little admin bit before our class gets here? What's up, mate?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Is that okay? And then I can just update her directly. That's
I think that's a good idea.
Okay, cool. So
sorry, I'm just pulling it up now.
It's the last session, which I'm really, really, really sad about. What are we going to do on Thursday evening? And this is Asma. We're going to do proper intros later when Eklas is here, but she's going to be running a poetry session with us today. So we just wanted to do some reminders, which is please send us your bios if you haven't done already. And if you could send us the recording, if you haven't done it already, I know loads of you have, but your recording to answers to those questions that we sent you not last week, the week before, by Friday would be ideal. We also mentioned that we wanted to do the how-to video, which would be a video of you making the recipe. And if you would like to do that, let us know by Friday as well, because that's like, we're going to get that process going, and we're going to send guidelines to everyone who wants to do it, and we can help you with it. But that is an extra part of the process. And like we said, if you're doing that extra work, we will pay you for that extra work. And we also thought it might be nice to meet up in a couple of weeks for anyone who wants to continue meeting up, just to talk about what that could look like. So I'll send out an invite, but also we were thinking not this Thursday, but the Thursday after, at the same time as we normally meet, would be quite good. Is that a good time for everybody? Is anybody not able to meet on that date?
And also, there's no obligation, obviously, to continue with the group if you feel like you have too many other commitments at the moment, or it's not really, you know, that it's not following your interests as much anymore, or whatever it might be. There's absolutely no obligation. We've just really enjoyed the whole process. So for anyone that does want to stay involved, you know, we're up for it.
So that would be Thursday the 29th that we were thinking. But yeah, come if you can. Invite people if you want to. But
we'll give you like a little reminder a bit closer to the time that it's coming up and stuff, and send out the link probably via the WhatsApp group as normal. And we'll then, in that session, we'll talk a little bit more about potential book things and just what the structure of the whole thing is going to be like going forward.
Yeah. Does that all sound good?
Yeah.
I'm gonna follow up their class again, because she did message me back earlier to be like, yeah, see you soon, but I don't know where she's gotten to. Fatima, was there anything else we needed to talk about?
No. I think for a change we actually don't have lots to say.
Yeah, the main thing is, if you could send us your recipes, and you can record them as audio or as video if you like, you know, if you rather than writing them down, if that's easier for you. But just make sure you send them to us by Friday. If anybody needs a bit of extra time just to work some stuff out, just let us know. I know that Subudsang, obviously, because you've been locked down, you haven't been able to get out and get the ingredients or whatever. So if you need a bit of extra time, that's fine. We can just be like to Eden, this is going to take a bit longer for these reasons. So yeah, that's fine. But yeah, that's kind of it. Maybe we should start the session.
I think maybe we should start. It's nearly 20 past, so I'm not sure. Maybe I don't know what you think, but
let me try calling her. I'm just gonna give her a call. Okay, no answer. So shall we just go ahead?
Okay. It's really great to meet all of you. So my name is Asma, and I was wondering if we could go around and one by one you could tell me your names, and also like the last good thing that you ate or made. So maybe I can start. yesterday I made guacamole with sourdough bread and egg and tomato. And I don't really cook, so for me that's like that's a big thing. But it was really nice and it was really fresh. So yeah. Someone else.
Cool, I can go next.
Okay.
So hi, I'm Kajol. I made pumpkin and butternut squash soup with my housemate yesterday, and he's very experimental and he's not a very experienced cook, but he's really good at flavors. And he was like, we should check this in and this in. I think sometimes when I'm making something for the first time, I tend to be a bit more of a traditionalist and go, no, we should follow the recipe. And I'm not used to being that person. I'm normally the person that's like, let's just throw everything in and see what happens. So it was kind of weird being in that position. But what we ended up with was this weird hybrid soup, which I think in some way reflected both of our personalities and was really delicious. So that's
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Sibutseng. What did I eat, or what? I had the Costa cake yesterday that was bought for me, which was lovely. It's a caramel something, but nice treat when you're not going out and somebody brings you that with white chocolate. So nothing homemade, but it was gorgeous. Like you've never ate a cake long time.
Thank you.
I'll go next. I'm Fatima, or you can just call me Fatty. People use both. The last delicious thing I ate was yesterday. I've started doing a bit of sort of informal work for a woman I know who runs a Caribbean restaurant in Brixton Pop called Caribe. If you haven't been already, you should check it out. It's amazing. And she showcases like food from all over the Caribbean. And she makes, I basically overcooked some saltfish fritters. They were the first ones I made. And so we couldn't serve them. So I had to eat them, which was delicious. So actually that was great.
I'll go next. I had some family round yesterday and I made some brown stew chicken and rice and peas, and it was great. Delicious.
Thank you.
I can go. I did arepas yesterday. It's not Peruvian, it's actually Colombian and Venezuelan. And a friend of mine that was visiting that it's half Peruvian, half Venezuelan left like this flour that is like corn flour that you use with a bit of water, and you create these kind of like patties that then you open as if they were like bread, but it's really like chewy. So we did that with my partner, and then everyone in the house was like, whoa, what's that? And we were all like, we actually don't know. But it was actually really, really, really nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Did I interrupt you, Rinko? Go ahead.
No, sorry, you go.
Okay. My name's Soha. Last delicious thing I ate that I can remember other than this porridge was also yesterday, and it wasn't homemade. It was from this like shop that was selling just a bunch of baked goods. I don't know what they would call it. British people would probably know, but it was this like long pastry roll, and there was like spicy potato and peas in it. And I basically had that for breakfast on my way to play basketball. So it really hit the spot like right before I worked out a lot and right as I woke up. I love like lunch and dinner foods for breakfast, so it was ideal.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Twinkle. I made yesterday puri and kheer with the rice and the milk, and it's just like Navratri starts, so I thought like let me make kheer and I can put in prasad and I can girls. And yesterday kheer it's just different. I made so many times, but with kheer it never comes same every single time. It's just like her taste and the same recipe and everything same for every single time. If it's come out different, and yesterday's came nice. Yeah, I make puri with the haldi and salt with the big round one, puri and kheer. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, that was really nice. It's really great to hear you all talk about food as well. Yeah. Okay, so for this workshop, please feel free to get water, snacks, duvet, whatever you need. And we're just going to be reading poems. Am I muted? No, I'm not muted. Okay. We're going to be reading some poems and about food, and sort of think about food and ourselves and our relationships to other people. And then I'm going to after we finish reading the poem, we can talk about it a bit. And I'll just suggest some things to think about or things that I pulled out of the poem, and we can try and, jot some ideas down. But yeah, kind of very low pressure, mainly just talking more about food really, but in poetry. So yeah, and if anyone feels stuck, or just feel free to give me a shout. I'm not trying to be an expert here. I'm just sharing poems with you guys, which is the thing I love to do. So I think we can start with the first one. If someone wants to read that, it's called. Actually, I think if you share the screen, you might already be sharing the screen. Okay, amazing, thank you. It's called Self-Portrait of So Much Potential by Chen Chen. So yeah, let me know who would like to read it out.
Oh, sorry. Are you looking for somebody to read it out loud?
Yeah, or I can
right.
read it out loud if you guys want.
You read it out loud. We like your voice. I like your voice. Carry on.
Okay. All right. Self-portrait is so much potential. Dreaming of one day being as fearless as a mango, as friendly as a tomato, merciless to chin and shirt front. Realizing I hate the word sip, but that's all I do. I drink so slowly and say I'm tasting it when I'm just bad at taking in liquid. I'm no mango or tomato. I'm a rusty yawn in a rumored year. I'm an Arctic attic. Come amble and ampersand in the slippery polar clutter. I am not the heterosexual neat freak my mother raised me to be. I am a gay sipper, and my mother has placed what's left of her hope on my brothers. She wants them to gulp up the world, spit out solid degrees, responsible grandchildren ready to gobble. They will be better than mangoes, my brothers, though I have trouble imagining what that could be. Flying mangoes, perhaps. Flying mango-tomato hybrids. Beautiful sons. So, I don't know, I think I chose that poem to have a look at because this poet is talking about his relationship with his mother and the ways in which he thinks he's failed her almost. But does any of that speak to anyone? Does anyone have any thoughts hearing that? There's no wrong or right answer, just...
I think it speaks to me a little bit. I'm like pansexual, I suppose you would say. And I came out really, really late when I was like 30 to my dad in the end, because it was quite difficult. I was quite scared my family would hate me. And so, yeah, it does definitely speak to me, because it's that whole thing of trying to kind of just fit neatly into what you think your parents want you to be, but knowing you're just not that person.
Thank you for sharing that, Fatima. So, as a writing exercise or a prompt to think about, if you want, you can write 4 things, stating the things that you are and that you aren't, but really looking at the images. So you can say, so for example, in the poem, he's like, I'm an Arctic attic, I'm a rusty yawn, which is a great image, because it's like, what does a rusty yawn sound like or taste like? I'm a friendly tomato, a fearless mango, and then if you use food images, then you can think about how far you can stretch that. Like, do you want to say that you're as fearless as a mango, but then what's the limits of being a mango? Are you easily bruised or so on? So yeah, I think just to play around with images, but just write down 4 things
Can you
that
say
you
those 4
are. You
Can
could
you
just
say
write
those 4
down.
things again, Asma?
Yeah, definitely. So I just wanted us to think about ourselves with these different images or metaphors. So just if you could write down 4 different things that you are or aren't, but just use a different image each time. So for example, the poet is like, I'm as friendly as a tomato, I'm a rusty yawn, but just try and be as surreal as you want. And if you're inspired, you can like keep writing and keep exploring, like what would it look like to be as fearless as a mango? What would it feel like? But you don't have to, just write down 4 things. Let me know if that makes more sense, Wrinkle.
It does, but I'm thinking, oh my goodness me. Yeah. So 4 things you are or you aren't.
As an example, I wrote, I'm as bold as a chili, I'm as gentle as a meringue. If you're stuck, maybe you can think about your recipes you've been working on, what they're made out of, what they look like, sound like, taste like, and maybe you could use some of those images. And what could that food do? What could that image do that you can't at the moment? So for example, if I said I'm as gentle as a meringue, and maybe that means that I can be vulnerable, or more delicate, I can have a difficult conversation with someone that I can't currently as I am. Okay, I think maybe 1 more minute. Give me a shout if it doesn't make sense.
Oh, okay. I think I'm done.
Okay, cool. Maybe the rest of you can raise your hands when you're done. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so the next poem Kaja is gonna play. So it's by Yemizi. I'm gonna butcher this. It's called Obana Soup, and maybe Fatima, you can describe what or explain what Obana Soup is before we listen to it.
So ogbono soup is a Nigerian dish. I'm not sure if it's made in other areas of West Africa, but it potentially is. And it's made with a particular seed. And when you mix it with hot water and boil it, it makes the liquid sort of viscous and sticky, which is like a really desirable component of Nigerian soups. And we call that viscosity the draw. So like it draws is how we would basically say it. And the person that does this particular poem references the draw.
Okay. I'm going to see if I can share my audio, and if anybody knows how to do that.
Yeah, you go share screen and then advanced options, and it says music or sound.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Pepper. Can you guys hear it? Okay.
No, but you are sharing.
Okay, let me try again.
It might be the volume in the website.
It says it's on.
Saying you're sharing computer sound, but we can't hear anything.
Yeah, I can't hear it either. Let me just refresh the screen and then let's give it a go. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing a second.
If I play it on my computer, can you hear it?
This is her recipe from memory for a beautiful ogbono soup.
Does that work? Can you guys
Yeah,
hear
we can hear that.
Okay.
Ogbono soup is the classic draw soup. It requires both technique and light-handedness to create the perfect degree of draw. In another world, the word draw would be an instruction and the person to whom it was said might obligingly
Sorry,
get
guys,
out
it's
a
worth
piece of
working out, yeah.
paper and a pencil and draw a bowl of soup. In our world, draw is defined as the animation.
Fatma, if
of
I
the
send you the
soup.
link, do you want to give it a go?
The quality of drawing has nothing to do with making pictorial representations of any kind, but refers to that thing that connects two kissers moving apart to catch their breath, organic strings pulling in two directions. It means mucilaginous, the structural elasticity that creates the shape of a climbing whirlpool in a pot on the fire.
Raw is
Structure, not texture, is what we mean. A kind of upside down souffle type fabric with stretch. Both okra and ogbono soups are mucilaginous. They're both draw soups, but their textures are dissimilar. The name ogbono niggles. It is inelegant, like trying to talk with a mouthful of hot yam. Even akbon, the Yoruba word for ogbono, sounds equally malignant. Ogbono is a beautiful girl named without considering how the blend of letters that make up her name sounds. No matter how time-honored the name, if it tumbles around the tongue and lips, it somehow takes away from the girl's beauty, doesn't it? The best ogbono soup I've ever eaten is from 20 years ago. Although my mother had instructed me not to ask for the seconds when eating outside our home, in fact, I was instructed not to accept offers of food at all if she were not present. I took full, excited advantage of her absence and asked for thirds. I was promptly put in my place with that sort of bruising facial expression that said I must be very badly brought up indeed. I didn't care. The soup was that good, well worth the attempt and rebuff. In my mind's eye, I can bring up the soup in the vivid color of diluted palm oil, not moody dark brown or red, but stunning turmeric. The soup was lightly viscous, velvety, embellished with luscious, fresh, giant prawns. As if to prove how skilled the Benin auntie who made the soup was, I have tried uncountable times, but never been able to replicate the attractiveness, the perfect degree of draw, the flawless timing allotted to the prawns at the end of cooking so that their pink, taut flesh detonated between my teeth. I have not even been able to replicate that exact shade of hunger-inducing turmeric. I suspect that my memory keeps raising the bar on cooking this soup to the point where I could never cook it as well as I remember it. Or it might be that I could never, ever cook it as skillfully as it was cooked that day, because Benin women have a reputation for cooking the best ogbono soup in all of Nigeria. The best in the world, really, since ogbono is a Nigerian soup.
Okay. I think someone just joined. But yeah, that's a beautiful poem. So I guess I wanted us to think about a recipe or a food from our past that we remember. Like this poet is trying to recreate the soup and always failing. And also if it's a draw soup like Fatima described, so you draw the soup and it's ready. And I really like the images that she uses, like she says draw like two kisses, organic strings spinning in two directions. And she's describing, she says it has structure, not texture. And upside down, it's like a fabric with stretch. And she says, don't draw it pictorially. I draw a bowl of soup, the strands pulling away. So I wanted us to think about a recipe from our memory and almost zoom into the food and look at the structure of it. So is it made up of fibers? Is it made up of loose, heavy strands or droplets? How, like, what verb is needed to make the dish? So for example, if it's spaghetti, it might be throwing it. If it's sauce, it might be bubbling. And then see what can happen when you keep using the same verb, for example. So she doesn't, for example, when she's talking about draw soup, she doesn't just say, you draw the soup and it's ready. She describes what drawing looks like, what it feels like, what images it can bring, if that makes sense. But I thought it'd be interesting to think about verbs, the verbs we use to make food, to make this recipe a recipe from your past.
Is that clear to everybody?
So I wrote an example that's about a mango, but that's not a dish that I could read out. So for example, I could say I'm talking about a mango, and I might say it spills. So it spills like it's losing its contents, like a bag tipping over, or like I'm spilling the wrong sentences, or it spills like I walk into someone and my body spills over the lines of theirs, or it spills and it loses its jacket. So I guess think about one verb to do with one food or recipe from your past, and then just try and write down 4 things that food does, I think. But yeah, let me know if it doesn't make sense.
اللي قاعدين هاي واحدة بالطرحات اللي البلو دي شنو؟ واحدة بالطرحات افتكرت هذه.
Hi, class.
Hello, hi. Good
Are you
morning.
okay?
Hi.
We're just, are you okay?
Yes, I am okay.
Hi, خلاص.
Hi, hello.
This is Asma. We're just doing an exercise where we listen to a poem, and we are thinking. Asma, did you want to describe the exercise to Eklas? And you can join in here, or you can join in on the next one if it's not clear.
Yeah. So we just listened to a poem about draw soup, which is a soup in it's a Nigerian soup. And we were thinking about food from our past and the things we had to do to get that food ready. So draw soup, for example, when you draw the soup, it's ready. And then the poet describes what that looks like, what it feels like.
كيف أنسب تحت الفرن؟ أعمل لها طايمة كده افتحها لون ايش بشوف فيها
Okay. I'm just going to mute you while we have a think about this, but maybe if you have a think about this and then you can join in on the next one. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Hey, I was wondering maybe we could talk about it as well if some of you are finding it difficult. So maybe you can talk. You know the food you want to describe. Yeah.
I know what I want to describe, but because sitting here facing everybody, I think I just feel under pressure and I can't think.
Yeah.
I'm like a block at the moment. I know the food I want to talk about.
Yeah.
But literally, so I kind of made what I want to talk about, how it's made, but then just trying to put it in a context, what you've asked us to do. Literally, it's just like, yeah.
But that's okay. You don't have to write anything. You can have it up here. That's okay. Or you can describe it to me now. If that makes sense.
I'll tell you what it is, and then maybe you can put it. So I want to talk about, because it's what we commonly in our Zimbabwean thing, sadza.
Sadza, yeah.
And sadza, it's, I think, literally everybody, black, white, whatever color you are in Zimbabwe, you eat that, and it's eaten by hands. But the process of it start from it's made from maize meal, grounded maize meal.
Oh,
it's powder.
Yeah.
Powder maize meal, corn, corn on the cob, grounded into powder. with hot water, boil the hot water, mix them together into like a thick but not too thick paste. Let that bubble. It's that bubbling process that's what cooks it. So it varies, and it comes in different from there's fine, there's thick of it, but I'll just talk of anything. Anyway, it bubbles together. So almost like instead of in a porridge form, at that stage you can eat it as porridge after you've left it to bubble for, they say, at least a good 10 minutes. Medium heat. Just let it bubble, and then you come back, you add some more powder to that mixture now. So at that stage, either you can take it out, eat it as soup, or you then add more powder of the maize meal, but you add it slowly.
Yeah.
Mix it up with a wooden spoon. As you're doing that, it gets thicker, and there's these bubbles that should come out as you do that. Those bubbles, it's a sign that they call it, that's the sign that it's cooking really well. The more it bubbles, so you get like as you pound it together with your, so you're holding one hand with your pan and you're pounding it together, you get this poof. And people actually like seeing that. I loved seeing that because, you know, it's going well. You add a little bit more powder and you start getting a bit of, and then the bubbles start getting a bit less. Once they kind of stop and you get not a very thick mixture, but just a medium to thick, you stop, you put your wooden spoon on top of the pan, put a lid on so you're not fully closing it, and just let those bubbles then bubble down slowly. And then it's ready. Take it out.
That sounds great. We eat the same thing actually, but
and then you eat with your hands. It's that process of eating. Now people try to take spoons because nah, you ain't gonna taste it. There's something about eating with the hands, you taste it better than when you use a spoon. So whenever I dish or whenever we make it, I hardly make it because I don't get the powder here. I think that's the powder I was asking for, Fatima. But when you make it, my kids go, shall we eat with a spoon? I'm like, no, you ain't gonna taste it. Use your hands. Because the thing to tell that it's also cooked when you use your hands and you mold it, because you dish it out into a big form. You use your hands. When you mold it in your hands, it shouldn't leave anything in your hands. That's to show that it's well cooked. If it's sticking in your palm, it hasn't been allowed to bubble enough. So yeah.
So maybe you could write about the sounds it makes, the sounds the bubbles make. Does that make you think of anything else?
Okay, so start. I've put bubbling.
Like maybe like a firework bubble will make the sound.
It's like
what would you describe that sound like? Like something breathing?
It's like a, because it's not a loud, it's just like, you know, how do you, like when you open a tap but no water comes out?
Like a hiss?
Like a hiss?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a hiss.
Like a hiss. So maybe you could describe what it smells like, sounds like, looks like. But you can use images to make it more dramatic than it actually is, you know? Because when this poet, when she's talking about the draw soup, it's not that there's actually two people kissing that are pulling away from each other, but she's just using that image so we can imagine what that would look like, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe if you describe the bubble as, I don't know, like mini volcanoes or something erupting, then maybe in our minds we can already imagine that.
Okay.
It was quite clear to me when you said it sounds like when you turn on the tap and no water comes out.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
That's a perfect.
You know, when you're turning on but nothing is coming out.
Well, you could write that down.
Yeah, we want that sound. And
that's a perfect image. Okay, thank you. Kajal.
Yeah.
You said that you were stuck as well.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I was just thinking it is quite hard, isn't it? Because it's like, I was thinking about how you fold a samosa, and this was something that Fatima and I made recently. I remember talking to you about like how you get sambusa, and how like it's something that like almost like so many different food cultures have their own way of making this kind of like folded pastry that has these kind of like ingredients inside, and it's almost like the ingredients tell you where they're from. So it's like up until then it's hiding, but not necessarily, because people fold it differently as well. So like depending on where you're from, you might fold it differently, you might prepare the pastry differently. I remember like when I was like doing a thing where I was like folding samosas and someone going, no, this isn't how we do it where we're from, you're doing it wrong, and then showed me their way of folding it, and I was like, that's a really there's something about that folding that I find like really evocative.
Kajal,
Yes.
Do you think that maybe like the verb wrapping might be easier in terms of in terms of writing a poem? Do you think, because obviously you're wrapping a samosa, then you use loads of other things, and it makes me think of like presents and like how a samosa is like a present. So I don't know if that could be an easier verb to use in reference.
I love that.
Yeah.
I really, really love that. But actually, I didn't think of presents when you said that. When you talked about wrapping, I thought of a sari.
Yeah, see, yeah.
Well, that's a good image too.
You don't put it on. You don't dress. You wrap it.
Yeah.
I was thinking about like wrapping your hair to keep it out of like when it's like, you know, not in its best state, and you also want to keep the wind off it and stuff, and maybe it's due for some sort of treatments. You're protecting it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like present parcel with the surprises.
Yeah, exactly. Because samosa is like a little present, you know, you bite it and you never know what you're going to get. Yeah.
Sorry, we've lost Ekla, so I'm just going to message her and say we'll call her after. I'll call her after.
Awesome. Okay, so I'll give you guys a few moments to write. Again, you're not writing poems at this point, you're just jotting down ideas, thoughts, images. Yeah. Words, a few sentences, 4 sentences, 4 words.
البداية هذا قطع ولا حاجة؟ هذا شو البداية؟ مسلمة كان عجبة. يس. عليكم السلام. عملت انميوت، دوس على انميوت خلاص. ليش تعملت ولا يعني معناه اسمع صوت. قال لي ميوت ولا انميوت؟ ميوت يسمع صوتي ولا
ميوت ما بيسمع صوتي.
انميوت انا عملتها انميوت يعني معناه يسمعوني لا بسمع هم كم ما دارين هم يعملوا انميوت.
Eklas, would you mind muting yourself just while we're doing the exercise, and then we can unmute when we are talking?
Yes.
Okay, I don't want to mute you. Yes, good, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. If you guys are done, if you are all done, we can move on to the next poem. And also don't worry, because at the end you can come back to one of the things you've written before and turn that into a bit of writing if you want. Yeah. Okay, so this one's called Broken Rice. Is there someone that wants to read it? It's really cool actually if you look at it on the screen. Because of the way that this poet's written it, it looks like broken rice as well. Yeah. All right. Does anyone want to have a go reading it?
I can read it because it's on my screen and I'm going to have to scroll down.
Okay, awesome.
So, with beef and veggies, blessed with an egg, saffron sullied chillin', with garlic or dirty, not quite, red buggin' the beans, or just rice, water, the miracle of salt, the grains promised to pillow and stretch. I used to hate rice, hated it, hated how broke it sounded. Rice, a pocket with 3 copper coins, hunger's tambourine. I hated all of it, hated the water, ghost bleached by starch, hated the puffy moons pocking my stomach like a sickness, ending sickness, hated everything that I would marry now, I would marry water. Could it have me without deading me? I'd marry the moon, change my name to its hour. I would wedge the yolk, gold rice stuck in the yellow teeth of my home girls, were it not already jewels, mining their laughs, blinged out like a dowry, shinin next to the bills of mint, bovine ribbons, confettied carrots. That's really difficult to read.
Yeah, I love it because like it forces you to slow down reading it as well. Yeah, so this poet's talking about how they used to hate rice and how that food has now changed for them. Now it means something more now. It means, well, to me, it feels like it means friendship, family, community. So I wanted us to think about a food again. Could be the same food from before, could be a different food. That you have had I don't know, maybe not difficult relationship with it, but you've had a relationship that's changed with it maybe. For example, rice for this boat hated how broke it sounded. Rice, rice, rice. A pocket with 3 copper coins, hunger's tambourine. And now it's the golden rice stuck in the yellow teeth of my home girls. So, is there a food from your childhood that you maybe had a bit of a difficult relationship with, or you didn't like it, maybe didn't like the taste of it? And has your relationship to it changed now, or can you imagine it changing? Yeah, and what could it change to? And so just write down 4 things. And so for me, my example was, we call it sor or ugali, but basically I think it was the thing that you were describing. In Zimbabwe, called sadse. I think it's basically that. And for me, it used to be like I hated the taste of it. It was like the fact that we had to eat it with our hands. I hated that as well. Hated how it looked. Hated the fact that we ate it with spinach. And now my relationship with it's changed because it kind of brings back memories of my grandmother and also my mom is like better at cooking it now, so it doesn't taste as bad. But yeah, basically. But if that's not clear to you, also feel free to hit me up. Yeah. Or an alternative is that you can just free write for 4 minutes or 3 minutes, which is basically when you just write down the first thing that like comes to your head and you don't stop writing. You just keep going with it. Doesn't matter if it's bad, and then just see what comes out. That's
Can I just ask something, Asma? I was trying to make notes of what you wanted as food you didn't get on with in the past. And because I think you said so many things, I've lost all the other bits. If you got something maybe typed up, or is somebody quick to type up the other things she suggested? Because I'm completely lost now.
Yeah, I'll type it into the chat now.
Thank you.
No worries.
I'm one of those who needs to, I think, we've got all different learning styles. I'm one of those who need to read something again and hear it again. So
yeah, absolutely.
I am really feeling under pressure. I'm not going to lie, but I'm sure I can do it.
I actually need the loo. Does anybody need like a couple of minutes just to like go to the toilet or whatever?
Yeah,
Is that okay? Because
yeah, of course. And
then I'm going to come back. But thank you for typing that up because I think that's really helpful for everybody.
I'm just gonna do it now. Okay, I'll put some things in the chat. Should we say 1 more minute? Okay, awesome. Okay. Are we cool to move on? We can come back to what you've been writing later as well. All right, so this last poem is called America by Richard Blanco, and it's quite long, so I was thinking maybe we could read the last 3 parts. Yeah, but basically it's talking about him growing up in America with his parents. But I'm just gonna start reading. Okay. So this is from number 3. By 7, I had grown suspicious. Yeah. So a little bit before, if you scroll up a little bit. Perfect, thank you. By 7, I had grown suspicious. We were still here. Overheard conversations about returning, had grown wistful and less frequent. I spoke English, my parents didn't. We didn't live in a 2-story house with a maid or a wood panel station wagon, nor vacation camping in Colorado. None of the girls had hair of gold. None of my brothers or cousins were named Greg, Peter, or Marcia. We were not the Brady Bunch. None of the black and white characters on Donna Reed or in the Dick Van Dyke Show were named Guadalupe, Lazaro, or Mercedes. Patty Duke's family wasn't like us either. They didn't have pork on Thanksgiving. They ate turkey with cranberry sauce. They didn't have yuca. They had yams, like the dittos of pilgrims I colored in class. A week before Thanksgiving, I explained to my abuelita about the Indians and the Mayflower, how Lincoln set the slaves free. I explained to my parents about the Purple Mountain's majesty, 1 if by land, 2 if by sea, the cherry tree, the Tea Party, the amber waves of grain, the masses yearning to be free, liberty and justice for all, until finally they agreed. This Thanksgiving, we would have turkey as well as pork. Abuelita prepared the poor fowl as if committing an act of treason, faking her enthusiasm for my sake. Mama set a frozen pumpkin pie in the oven and prepared candied yams following instructions. I translated from the marshmallow bag. The table was arrayed with gladiolas. The platted turkey loomed at the center on plastic silver from Woolworths. Everyone sat in green velvet chairs we had upholstered with clear vinyl, except Tio Carlos and Toti, seated in the folding chairs from the Salvation Army. I uttered a bilingual blessing, and the turkey was passed around like a game of Russian roulette. Dry, Teoberta complained, and proceeded to drown the lean slices with pork fat drippings and cranberry jelly. Esimier de roja, he called it. Faces fell when Mama presented her oca pie. Pumpkin was a home remedy for ulcers, not a dessert. Tia Maria made 3 rounds of Cuban coffee. Then Abuelo and Pepe cleared the living room furniture, put on a Celia Cruz LP, and the entire family began to merengue over the linoleum of our apartment, sweating rum and coffee until they remembered it was 1970 and 46 degrees in America. After repositioning the furniture, an appropriate darkness filled the room. Teoberto was the last to leave. Okay. So this little kid is describing their Thanksgiving and how he managed to convince his grandmother and mother and everyone that this year they should have a turkey because he wanted to be like the other kids at school. And how they were all like, you know, trying to be enthusiastic for his sake. And how shocked everyone was with the dry turkey and what was the other thing? When Mama presented her ochre pie, pumpkin was a home remedy for ulcers, not a dessert. So even like using food that's traditionally, well, for his family used as a medicine, and then turning it into a dessert just because he wanted to have an American Thanksgiving. So I was thinking about food and how it can make you feel other or different sometimes from your peers. I'm gonna write this in the chat as well. So I was wondering, do any of you have memories of food and your family or the people around you? Were your foods ever different? Were there things that you had to like translate for them, or did you ever have moments that happened like this where your parents went out of their way to make something for you? Or if it didn't happen, could you imagine it happening? And if it didn't happen with your family, could you maybe think about it happening with your friend or with a colleague? But just thinking about, I'm going to put it in the chat as well, just thinking about foods and translating them for people, to people. Also, you can unmute yourselves if you want to talk or ask questions, but again, you can either write 4 things down or you can free write for 3 minutes. And I'm just gonna put this in the chat. And if you wanna like mention something that you read or that you just heard in the poem, also feel free. Okay.
I like this idea of the pumpkin. It's a medicine, not a dessert. I thought that was really, really interesting. Because yes, you use different foods for different things.
Mm-hmm.
I also think like it's interesting to think about how other people might have translated things for you so that you could understand them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not thinking of a good example here.
No, but that's really great to think about as well. I guess, Kaja, maybe if you've ever been to a friend's house and they ate something that you weren't used to, then maybe that was a moment where if the food could have been translated for you.
Asma, are you going to put the instructions in the chat?
Yeah, I'm just typing them up. Yeah.
Mine is quite simple. Sorry, I just smiled when you said something like that, because I remember when I was growing up, my mom used to come to the UK quite a lot, and she would say, "I've had mince pies."
Yes.
Zimbabwe mince pie. It's a pie with means in it, mince meat. And trying to say to us, and because she couldn't bring it, and I think I was about 6, 7. She's going, "No, they eat at Christmas and it's got this." And I'm like, "That's not mince pie, that's fruits inside." And so when I then came in here, I realized what she meant. But every time she would try to explain, I'm thinking, there's no such thing as mince pie. The mince pie we know of, meat inside it. So yeah, simple. It just made me smile, and that one is easy. I can free flow and write it, because it was really hard trying to explain to us who had never seen it or heard of it, or knew it differently anyway.
Mm. Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
I remember my uncle used to think he could eat cheeseburgers because they only had cheese in them.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. It's like, it's like, Ada, what are you eating? It's like, I got this cheeseburger from McDonald's. It's delicious. I'm like, that's got beef in it. You can't eat that.
Mm. Wait, do you say Adar for uncle as well?
My dad's older brother is Ada. Otherwise, we say Kaka.
Okay, great.
That's it.
Yeah. Or hamburger. They just assume that a hamburger has ham in every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peanut butter and jelly. Peanut butter and jam.
Peanut butter and jelly. Peanut butter
So they
and
say
jam.
jelly. The gelatinko. I know it's more of an American thing. But...
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm finding this one particularly challenging, actually. Just when I was quite young when I first moved over here, so I don't really remember those sorts of bits. And my mum was like very determined to kind of like assimilate. So she immediately started learning like English foods and what they were about and blah blah blah. So by the time I could remember food, we had both at home often. It was more, I think, translating Nigerian food to like people who came from a white school in Ascot, outside of London, because I didn't initially have a UK passport. I was on like a student visa. And so there were like 5 black people in the whole school. And so I remember being really nervous about people coming over to my house and not, and like maybe looking down on what we're eating, because like the drawer that we were talking about in that poem, loads of Nigerian food is like that. And that just doesn't exist in British food really anywhere. Even when, I think that's why people shy away from okra often, but like, you know, okra is not traditionally made in any British food. Sorry, I think Kaj just said I'm breaking up, so I don't know if you can hear me properly.
I can hear you. I can hear you. You are breaking up, like your voice is slowing down, but I can still hear you. Yeah.
You're okay now. Oh no, you're doing it again.
Sorry, I don't know how to make that any better, I'm afraid.
No, you're okay.
But yeah, it was just like a bit of a fear of people coming to my home and then like going to school and telling everybody what we ate. And actually what would happen is if people did come to the home, you know, my parents obviously knew they were coming, so that food never appeared.
All right. Yeah.
It just never appeared. They were like, people are going to want burgers, and so
yeah. And maybe that's also a moment of I don't know, your parents making food that they know that the kids coming over would understand. I mean, for me, I'm just trying to think. Yeah, a lot of the poems that I read about this topic, most of them are kind of about experiences like the one that you're describing, like with your with the poet's foods, like always being the stranger ones in school, or kind of feeling like anxious about like opening their lunchbox because of, you know, the other kids won't understand, or even if they do encounter the food, like it's never going to be the good stuff that your parents would make at home. It's like there's like terrible stuff. And this is like the one poem I found where that was kind of like a more like a positive experience rather than like a painful experience. But yeah, I feel like it's very there's lots of stuff actually written about that. There's a really good one actually that I could share with you after, which is about persimmons. But yeah, maybe I'm not asking you to dig into your painful memories or anything, but maybe there's something. Maybe there's an interaction you can imagine, perhaps, if it's not something that you can recall. I'm not sure if that's useful.
Yes, thank you. It is useful. I think that it was less painful and more just kind of it just kind of was the way it was at the time. But yeah, I guess it was just an experience of migrating. That kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, one more minute, if that's cool with everyone. Okay, and now, keeping in mind everything we've previously written, I thought maybe we could write a poem imagining a future gathering where you could bring all your foods with you. Who would be there? What would you be eating? What were the things you wish you could eat together? What would it look like, feel like, sound like? Would it be difficult, easy, hard, joyous? Yeah. I'm gonna write that in the chat. But also, feel free to ignore that and you can continue writing something that you've already written beforehand. I'm gonna write what I just wrote, what I just said in the chat.
I just realised we've gone over time. Did anybody desperately have to go at 12:30?
Wow.
We got another 10 minutes or so to finish the exercise.
We're fine.
Yeah?
Yeah, completely.
I have like 15 minutes.
Yeah? Okay. All right, cool. Thank you.
This is also like 3 minutes writing.
Okay, cool. Thanks. I'm finding it really helpful to think about a situation where we're all coming together.
Mm-hmm.
So you're all my guests, so this is for you.
And you can incorporate stuff you've already written. It doesn't have to be like new.
Sí, por favor. Llevándole los pasajes. Hey, cool.
Okay. I think we're gonna overrun more than we already have if we don't wrap up. But of course, you can keep writing afterwards. And yeah, it'd be really great if you find some way to share what you've written with each other. And I think you guys can unmute yourselves now if you want. But yeah, thank you for being so generous and trying. Yeah.
I think we really wanted to have time for people to read out what they've written, but I think if we all kind of like go away and work on this and think about this a bit more, it might be really nice if you could, I don't know, share it with us afterwards. And if anybody would like to meet up again to work on this a bit more in the week, maybe, I was thinking that might be quite nice. But also you're welcome to just kind of write it out or record yourself and send it to us. And if you have any problems with it, or if you're struggling, please send us a message or give us a call. Because it would be really nice if we could have, you know, something from all of you, even if it is just a few lines, or if it's something that you think maybe isn't quite right, but in some way is talking to this project in some way. I don't know, like, what do you think, Fatima?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Sorry, is my like connection okay, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Like, I know that I have only got halfway through that last one, really, and it would be nice to have a little bit more time. So.
Yeah. We have like a few minutes if anyone is desperate to share. But yeah, maybe we could.
I could share something.
Yeah. Okay.
So I really like poetry, and I want to see if this translates into something that makes sense. Yeah. There's no recipe when you have no time to be present. No recipe when you have to be somewhere else. But there's time to be messy, and traditions around huge pots and boiling water. Artichokes. Alcachofas are for the grown-ups. They are too difficult, too dangerous, too messy. But you drain them from the boiling water, and it's hot and pointy and scary. There's lemon, olive oil, pepper, salt. There's lemon, olive, pepper, salt. And finally, there's thyme, and nothing is too dangerous. But alcachofas are messy, so it's only us. And the best part, there's lemon and thyme. And the heart looks like ours, all covered in layers of messy little things, aggressive little things. But there's time, so you clean a heart for me. And alcachofas are much more beautiful like this. They still gray and broken, but they taste great. There's no recipe, just a moment to see beyond the pointy, hard leaves. And let the water boil. Let the water boil, Papa.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
That was beautiful, Pepper.
Thank you.
I felt like I was right there with you, like with the worrying about the sharp, pointy bits of the artichokes and things, and how they always look a bit like, oh, is that what we're going to eat? And they're delicious. Actually was really nice to hear yours. I don't know whether anybody else wanted to share theirs if they've got time to.
Be good to meet up another point and develop it a bit more.
Awesome. Okay, maybe we can go around and say one word to describe how we're feeling right now, and then we can say goodbye. Oh, I'm sure Kaj and Fatima can talk. Wrap up. Oh.
No, I was just going to say I feel really inspired and I'm really excited to go away and write this.
I'm not going to lie, I feel sleepy, so I'm going to have an afternoon nap.
Because my
thank you, Soha. Yeah, got that.
Nice.
Yeah, I feel very emotional. I always write and cry. That's what I do.
Yeah, me too. Nice. Thank you, Victoria.
I don't know why I'm just laughing. That's how I feel. That's all right? Yeah?
You're really infectious, love. Thank you.
I don't know why, but yeah, that's how I feel. So there you go. It's been really good. Just to add on to that, an eye-opener. I love poems, but I've actually probably never thought of actually writing them myself. I love listening to poems. Can you share the poems you've just put up there today? Because I would love to read them again and go through them. I like to digest them slowly and use that to create my own as well.
Yeah, I was going to send them to everybody. Asmin sent them to me, so I will share them.
Yes. And also, just a little request. You know how at the end you were writing the things you were asking us to do? Can you do it as well with the first and the second thing you asked us to do? I know I made notes, but I might have missed out something because I'd love to use that.
No, definitely. I'll send that over to Kajan.
Thanks, Asma.
I think we were just, Winkle, I don't know how you've been feeling.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's just writing and everything. I just feel like when we in the uni, we just listen something, we writing something, and when you write it, it just carried away. So my one is like carried away because I love writing. So I need to make and sort it out to make a beautiful poem like paper. So yeah, all the material when you send it, it just help us to make clear. And then thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Asma. Thank you, Kajal.
Thank you.
And Eklis, what about yourself? How would you use any one particular word to describe how you're feeling? Oh, I think we need you just to unmute yourself there.
Mute.
Oh, that's better. Lovely.
No, I'm going to fix it with that one for the time being, and then we'll see.
Hi.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Even today I felt I just watch everyone, but I always felt welcome and respected by you all. Respect me as an old mom. Yeah.
Eklas, I will call you maybe after, or do you want to call me later when you are free, and then we can talk about the exercises that we did.
Okay, all right. Yes.
We missed the beginning.
All. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Asma.
Asma.
This was so wonderful. I feel really inspired. I feel like I've ended up with all of the bits I need in order to write this poem, because this is not something I've ever really done before either. So it's actually quite exciting.
Okay, I should say I feel warm, so thank you all as well. It's really great to meet you all. It's really great to hear your conversation. Thank you for being so generous and sharing your time with me. And I hope you have a really good Sunday.
Thank
and
you.
rest of the week.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Just gonna...
Yes, bye.